Welcome everyone to another day of our 3-day LinkedIn Jumpstart Challenge. I can see that the chat is already going off with some fantastic questions, some fantastic comments. I can see that you guys did some of your homework from yesterday. If you are new to my channel, my name is Heather Austin from ProfessorAustin.com, and on this channel, I provide simple solutions for professionals like yourself to help you build your personal brand so that you can thrive in a career you love. If you're new to my channel, and if you can hear me okay, and this live stream's coming through great for you, give this video a big, huge thumbs up. Also, hit the subscribe button. I know that a lot of you that watch are probably not subscribers, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. This tells me that you're interested in my content and that you like what you see. So today we are jumping into day 2 of our LinkedIn Jumpstart Challenge, and we have so much content to cover. I'm super excited to share this stuff with you. Again, I've never shared this information before. In fact, it's kind of hard to find the information I'm about to share with you out there in the general on the web. So I'm going to bring some fantastic content to you today. I also want to make a note. I know that we are officially in a pandemic worldwide, and I want you to spend a little bit of time with me today, and let's forget about everything that's happening out there in the world. I'm just so grateful that I can live stream from my home today and be here with you, and that we can connect online. I know that there's a lot of craziness happening out there, so we're going to just forget about all that for now, and we are going to spend some time together learning about LinkedIn because, hey, if you get quarantined and you have to stay home, why not build up a great LinkedIn profile and start finding fantastic career opportunities for yourself? So let me know in the chat where you're joining us from today. If you are shy, don't be shy. I ask a lot of questions during my live stream. Talk to others in the chat, talk to me, ask questions. My teammate Tori is here. Tori is going to be collecting all of your questions and putting them in front of me. And excuse me, Tori, I thought of something last night. Let's do questions so that it's easier for you to find the questions. Tori, let's everyone, if you have a question, put like a question mark in front or type really in caps question so that she can kind of see. Yesterday, the chat moved super fast, so we had a hard time keeping up with all the questions. So make sure excuse me, if you have a question, that you put the word question or a question mark in front, just so that we can see where and what the questions are. So I want to say hi to you guys. Steve jumped in super early. He's already talking about the challenge from yesterday. Love it. Tomaton, I'm not sure what your first name is already talking about the challenge as well from yesterday. Welcome everyone. Helen is here. Hello. Laura is here. Kenneth is here. So glad to have you guys. Let's see. Charlie is here, and I know that you're Charlotte. So glad that you guys are here. Alex is here. So happy to see you guys. Kristen. Oh my gosh, we have so much fantastic content to share. Before I ask you guys a question in the chat, however, I want to make a big announcement again. I know I told you guys this yesterday. I'm going to make an announcement again about it today. LinkedIn Profile Perfection, my full online LinkedIn course, opens doors tomorrow. Now, this course is full of video lessons and step-by-step tutorials that walk you through how to create a winning profile, but also how to navigate the platform with confidence. I know a lot of you struggle with using LinkedIn because it's so complex. In my full online LinkedIn course, I take you step by step through the intricacies of LinkedIn. So that launches tomorrow. If you have not gotten yourself on the wait list, we are also doing LinkedIn profile reviews tomorrow. So we're still selecting a few candidates for that. Let me share a page with you really quickly so that you can sign up for the free LinkedIn profile review. Excuse me. So you're going to go to heatheraustin.online/waitlist, and Tori will pop that link into the chat. This is where you are going to sign up for a free LinkedIn profile review. You will also be eligible for a bonus of $100 off when LinkedIn Profile Perfection launches tomorrow. So make sure you get your name on that list. Again, Tori will pop that link into the chat. Now, before we jump into the content, I wanted to share with you guys what some of the comments were from yesterday's fantastic live stream, because we learned a lot. We covered a lot of ground. So yesterday, let me share with you guys some of the takeaways that other individuals had. So Lori popped into the chat yesterday and said, LinkedIn is a platform with an enormous amount of untapped potential and power. She says, I haven't fully grasped this in the past, and I really need to put the work into optimizing my profile ASAP. Let's see. Charlotte said, can I give 2 takeaways? And I said, of course you can. And she says, I really need to network more. Yes. And number 2, I love the idea of thought leadership. That was one of my favorite concepts from yesterday as well. And then Randy says, LinkedIn is where the professionals are. Boy, did we cover a lot yesterday. I can't wait to share even more content with you. If you have not yet seen yesterday's live challenge, Tori will also pop that into the chat, and it is in the comments. So we had over 60 minutes of full out LinkedIn strategy, and I also answered questions. So make sure you take a look at that. Remember, these videos will only be available until next week, Thursday. So if you need to jump back and re-listen or rewatch and take notes, definitely do so, because this is a very limited time replay. Now, I have a question for you guys. Besides where you're from and saying hello in the chat, my next question for you is, and this might take a little bit of thinking, what's holding you back from making the most out of LinkedIn? What's holding you back from making the most out of LinkedIn? And I want you to type into the chat. And of course, if you're listening on the replay, make sure you type into the comments below the video. Now, as you guys are typing that, let me share with you what some of my group members had mentioned inside of Facebook when I asked this question, just to kind of get you thinking about really what it might be. Gabrielle says, I don't really understand it. Donna says, looking unprofessional. She goes on to say, but I don't want to sound too clinical and without personality. Oh, so true. Susan says, it's complicated. I probably need a better understanding on how to optimize the features. And let me know if you guys can resonate or relate with any of these individuals here. Christine says, not knowing what to say. So I know when I first started using LinkedIn, what held me back was I was afraid of what others would think. Honestly, that was my biggest fear of using LinkedIn, is I was afraid of what others would think about me. And specifically my own managers and my own coworkers. And I know I told you guys this yesterday, but after I kind of got out of my own way and really optimized my profile, really was I able to really utilize LinkedIn how I wanted to utilize it. So let me kind of see what you guys have said in the chat here before we move on to our content. Make sure you have a paper and a pencil or your favorite pen, or type this up, because I'm going to be giving you guys even more templates today to use, and we're going to be covering a lot. So Kristen says, I don't know a lot about LinkedIn. Brenda says, a lack of knowledge. Yes, and this is what holds most people back. Manita, hello. So glad you're here again today. Says, been thinking about doing an article. Yes, and we are going to talk about that today. How a sabbatical has made me a greater contributor. I love that. I actually love that whole concept. That would be fantastic. Tushar says, lack of regular content. I have a particular niche in mind, but finding regular content to post. Yes. Let's see. Alex says, what to post. We're covering that today. So I'm so glad you guys are here. Randy says, just being unfamiliar with the platform. Yes, this is such a big... I call LinkedIn a hairy beast, right? Because it's so scary in the beginning, but as you learn some practical tips and strategies, it actually becomes so easy that you're like, what? I didn't realize LinkedIn could actually be this easy to use and implement and make connections and find new opportunities and connect with people. And it's amazing the power of LinkedIn. So let's go ahead and let's talk about And I'm sharing 2 strategies with you guys today. So 2 strategies, simple strategies for basically how to make the most out of LinkedIn. So again, we're talking about relationship building and we are talking about content. So step number 1 is build meaningful relationships. So I gave you guys an introduction yesterday into networking. So I gave you a template to use where you can use that template to basically reach out to anyone on LinkedIn that you would like to make a connection with. Now, I did get a comment because I thought about this when I gave you guys this template. Someone said, well, wait a second, what if my profile's not totally optimized? Should I really still be reaching out to people on LinkedIn? And that's actually a great question, because let me pop into what our first step is to building relationships is create a strong profile. So I'm actually really grateful for whoever brought that comment up. I can't remember who it was yesterday. But before you really start diving deep, yes, you want to have a strong profile. Now, the reason why I gave you guys that task yesterday is to kind of get your feet wet, because that's just kind of like the top of everything. We're not even diving deep really yet into the full-blown potential of networking on LinkedIn. And by the way, if you weren't here for the challenge yesterday, the challenge was to network with 10 to 20 people on LinkedIn. And I gave a template for you to use for connecting. Now, I do know a lot of you guys are talking about how your challenge went. Let me know in the chat if you were able to complete the challenge yesterday. So give me a yes or a no. You can even leave some details about it if you want. I know a lot of you jumped in and said you tried connecting. Some people said you've only been able to connect with 2 people, and that's totally okay. This is just the start to you really fully getting out what you can of LinkedIn. So again, the tip number 1 when it comes to build meaningful relationships is to create a strong create a strong profile. And we're going to talk more about profile creation tomorrow. Tip number 2 is to find the right connection. So I talked a little bit about this yesterday again, but I'm going to reiterate, when it comes to finding your connections on LinkedIn, you need to make sure you're connecting with the right people. You don't want to just reach out to random Joe and Sally, okay? There has to be a reason why you're reaching out, and there has to be meaning behind it, because if you reach out just to reach out to say, hey, I grew my connections from 50 to 500 or from 50 to 1,000 or from 1,000 to 10,000, it doesn't matter what number you have. If you're just doing that just to get a number, at the end of the day, it will do nothing for you. So my recommendation is to always connect with people that you have some similarity with, people that you admire, that have done something in the industry that you really think is super cool. Maybe people that are doing things that you want to do. So there's so many different avenues when it comes to finding the right connections. The third part to this is to personalize the connection request. Now, I shared this with you yesterday. I shared the template with you. So again, if you don't have that template, jump back to the day 1 live stream from yesterday and get that template. You can even take a screenshot I shared a slide with you. Take a screenshot of that so that you can use that to connect. It's such a fantastic way to connect. You customize the template just a little bit, but again, always personalize that connection request. I get connection requests every single day, and it's so it's one of my biggest pet peeves when someone doesn't just say, "Hi, can we connect?" and they just connect. Like it's almost like if you were going to run into someone on the street, would you just not it's weird. You would at least look at them in the eye and say, hey, it's nice to meet you, right? Or hey, where are you from? What do you do for fun? Whatever that conversation looks like, you're going to say something. But when you get those blind connection requests, to me, it's just not appropriate to do on LinkedIn. And I think it downplays the importance of the platform when you do that, when you're not customizing those connection requests. It makes the platform not as important as it really should be, and it makes it more spammy. So please personalize those connection requests. And then I'm going to give you guys a template in a second here, but the 4th thing is to ask for an introduction. Now, this is one of my favorite things to do, especially if you find a position that you really want to apply for, and you know someone that has a connection with that individual, okay? Or you know someone that could kind of put you in touch with that individual. And I'm going to share a template with you on how you can ask for that introduction. A lot of times you'll reach out to a person, and I know this is probably some of your experiences here in the comments from what you guys are saying, is you reach out and you make that connection, and some people just don't get back to you. Some people won't say anything. You'll never hear from them again. They might accept your connection request in 6 months, and that's totally okay. That's the nature of some of the user behavior on LinkedIn right now. But you want to make sure when you go in to ask for an introduction that you're nice and polite about it, and you're asking someone, hey, can you introduce me to this individual? Now, let me show you guys this template really quickly. Take a screenshot of this if you can, and save it for later, or however this might be. This is a template that if you don't use now or today or tomorrow, you will use at some point in the future. Now, the other great thing about this template, I don't just look at this template as a template you can use on LinkedIn. This could be you could alter this and use this in an email. You could use this in a text message. You can use this template kind of to really like make sure that you're getting in touch with the person that you want to get in touch with. So we start out with, hey, Bob. Of course, you're going to change the name. I noticed Sally Sue, you'll change that name too, is one of your connections on LinkedIn. Would you mind introducing us? Okay. And then you're going to go on to say, I would love to connect with her about a potential position available in her organization. I appreciate your time, and then sign with your name. So this is a fantastic way to politely say, hey, they have a job that they're hiring for. I really want this job. This is one of the things that my clients and my students struggle with the most is, Heather, I want this job, but how do I really reach out to these people and say, I need a job, right? This is a really good way to do it. Where it's like a casual, but you're saying, hey, it almost has a timestamp on it, because you're saying there is a potential opportunity right now. So hopefully it gets them to take action and put you in touch with each other. So that is a quick template that you can use to introduce yourself. Now, I want to know in the chat really quickly, tell me, do you personalize your connection requests? And don't be afraid to say you don't. Okay, don't be afraid, because you're here to learn, and I'm going to teach you, which I have already a little bit today and yesterday, how to do that. But tell me in the chat, do you personalize your connection requests? Give me a yes or a no. And while you're typing that, remember, tomorrow, Friday, March 13th, doors open to LinkedIn Profile Perfection. If you want to be eligible for a free LinkedIn profile critique, we still have a few individuals that we are selecting for this. We are going to be doing LinkedIn profile critiques tomorrow right here, same time, same place. If you want to be eligible for that, here is the page that you're going to go to, heatheraustin.online/waitlist. You'll go ahead and click on the free LinkedIn profile review. Make sure you give your best email address and your name. This will allow us, my team and I, to get in touch with you to make sure you are qualified for that review. So again, make sure you guys take a look at that. And then be on the lookout for tomorrow when doors open to LinkedIn Profile Perfection. I only do this once, maybe twice a year for this program because we have other products and services and things like that we launch throughout the year. So this is, I don't even know if we'll do this again, this specific program. But here's the cool thing. You have lifetime access to the course. So if LinkedIn changes their interface, which they do all the time, I normally record video lessons to go into that lesson, into the course with the updated material. So it's a fantastic way to almost do lifelong learning. Okay, let's see what you guys have said about your connection requests. Michelle says, no, but I will from now on. Good, Michelle. I'm so glad that you're learning something from today. Brenda says, no, but I will from now on. Randy, no, but I will from now on. Keith, not always, but I do try to. Cassandra, hello. I'm so glad you're here. I saw you in the chat yesterday and I forgot to say hi. Well, actually, I saw you after the chat and after the live stream ended. I'm so happy that you came today. Cassandra says, yes, I believe, very conscious of what after watching. Yes, Cassandra's actually a student of mine. So she has gone through a lot of my programs. So she said yes. Good job, Cassandra. Alex, sometimes more no than yes. That's okay. You guys are going to get the hang of this. And I promise the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So let's talk about, this is one of the topics you guys really wanted me to cover during this 3-day live challenge, because I asked you, what are some things you want to know how to do or create or whatever with LinkedIn? And this is one of the things that you guys requested, was to create kick butt content. Now, you didn't actually say kick butt, but that's how I interpreted it. So let's go through and look at how we're going to actually do this. So again, this is our second tip for today, and we will jump into questions. If you have questions, put a question mark or the word question in front of your question, and Tori will get that, and then she will put that in front of me so that I can make sure I answer your questions. Now, remember yesterday, I shared the same slide with you. Only 3 million users share content on a weekly basis on LinkedIn. Now, if you compare that to Facebook, so on Facebook, there are 350 million photos uploaded every day. Okay. And then on Instagram, there's 100 million photos and videos uploaded every day. So what happens, and when you make a post on some of these other social platforms, not everyone sees them because there's so many posts happening all the time, right? But if you were to really develop thoughtful content on LinkedIn, and I'm going to show you what's working right now on LinkedIn in terms of content, but if you were to share thoughtful content on LinkedIn, what ends up happening is your audience or people in your network are going to see it more frequently than if you had a business page on LinkedIn, or excuse me, on Facebook, or a business account on Instagram, or whatever that is, because there's not as much competition on LinkedIn. So if you can kind of be at the forefront, and what I think is amazing is some of these other industries where there's not a lot of people sharing a lot of stuff, like even the real estate industry, I'm surprised that not more people are using this resource. And remember, yesterday I also said that LinkedIn now has 600 million users. So this platform is growing so dang fast. I don't see it going away anytime soon. I only see it getting bigger and bigger. So why not get on there now and really start using the power of the platform? So let's talk about, I want to share with you guys 6 content ideas, and I'm going to show you examples of these, and then we'll take questions after this. So 6 content ideas. These are things that you can share. These are things that are working based on my research, based on what I post, based on what some of my colleagues post. This is where this list comes from. It's my list that I developed and just pulled from my own experience and knowledge. So inspirational messages work really well. Now, inspirational messages are good in terms of like a quote. So let's say, and this is how I actually started my business, which is really strange, is because I love visuals and I love design and I love that kind of stuff. I used a free resource called Canva. So if you guys don't know what Canva is, and Tori, maybe we could pop a link into Canva into the chat for everyone. You can create like super cool little images for free. Like Canva even has templates that you can use. And let's say that you have a quote that you look at every day, or by a famous person, or maybe it's not a famous person, whatever, maybe it's your own quote, whatever that is, you can create like a cool little graphic to go along with that and post that on LinkedIn. That's how I first got started. When I started my own business, is I was just like, what's inspiring me today? And I would find quotes and whatever, and I would turn them into graphics and I'd pop them up on LinkedIn. And I actually think this works really well for job seekers as well. So think about inspirational messages. The second type of content is anything that is industry related, news and research. So is there something happening in your industry right now where you could actually talk about it. So again, this includes, and when I say content ideas, this doesn't just have to be your own content. You might find an article out there on the web and you can share that to your LinkedIn page and make a couple sentences about it. And others in your network are going to see that, that post. So industry related news can be, let's say that there's a conference that you recently attended. Maybe there's medical breakthroughs happening. Maybe there's something going on in the tech industry. Maybe if you are a real estate agent, there's, whatever that is, anything that's related to your industry in any sort of news capacity or research capacity. Now, the third part, and I know some of you guys have been asking about this, is articles or blog posts via LinkedIn publishing. So this is one of my favorite parts about LinkedIn, even though I don't actually post articles yet because I have my own blog, but you don't have to go create a fancy website and start blogging. You can actually use the LinkedIn publishing platform to do that. So if you go to your LinkedIn window, at the top of the window, and let me see, maybe I should show you guys this really quickly. I'm going to do a quick, I wasn't planning on sharing my LinkedIn screen, but I will do that because I want to show you guys just really quickly and how easily this works. There we go. So notice this is my LinkedIn page. If I wanted to start a post, it's so dang easy. All I do is I click start a post and it allows me to walk through the content. Okay. I can create, add a video, I can add a picture, so on and so forth, and I can type something about that. Now, if I wanted to do an article, I would click on write an article. That's how easy it is. It's so dang easy to do this. When you click on write an article, it actually takes you to the LinkedIn publishing screen. And we're going to talk a little bit more about articles in just a second here, but that gives you a really good idea of how to even do a post or to do an article on LinkedIn. Now, if you are a business owner, which I think some of you guys might be, if you are a business owner, you can even take your blog posts, if you have blog posts, and this is something that my team and I will do in the future, and repurpose them on LinkedIn. It almost becomes more of like a second platform for you to really become a thought leader. So again, using the LinkedIn publishing tool is so fantastic. Now the fourth tool, or the fourth content idea, is simple how-to or educational tips. So one of you had mentioned earlier, like something you learned, right? LinkedIn is such a fantastic way to put that content out there. So I work with a lot of clients that go to conferences in their industry and they learned something from that conference. And why not either blog about it or write even a post about it? And you could even take, and I'll show you some examples of posts that perform well on LinkedIn right now, like image posts and stuff. I'm going to show you guys that in just a second. But you could take that content and you can either put it in an article form if you wanted, or just a simple post, and you could even take a picture from the conference and put that and mention something. Okay, this shows to a potential employer that you're very interested in your industry. If they go through your newsfeed, which they can look at all of your activity unless you have it disabled on your platform, which you could. But again, this shows, hey, this person's this is evidence that this person's learning, that they are wanting to become a thought leader, or that they already are. And it kind of improves your candidacy for a new position. And then the fifth part, or the fifth content idea, is photo updates. So photo updates, again, could be that simple image from the conference that you attended. It could be you at your computer learning a new skill. It could just be you. It could be you in a nice, fun moment. And here's one thing I would recommend you doing, and I know I recommend this in some of my other content, is to have a professional photo shoot done where you are dressed nicely or appropriately for your industry, and you get that headshot. Have them take a few more images of you kind of doing something and looking, like you're doing something, those like lifestyle type photos, and post that on LinkedIn and talk about, hey, this year was a breakthrough year for me because XYZ, or this year, one of my favorite things I learned is XYZ. Now remember, I just saw a comment come in that says, what is LinkedIn? Remember, we are talking about this is a very professional platform. So you're not going to post pictures of your cats, your dogs, your kids, I mean, you could. I'm not saying you can't post pictures of your kids, but like if you're just getting started, keep it as professional as possible. And then, you can kind of extend out from that a little bit. But again, remember, this is a very professional platform. It's not Facebook, it's not Instagram, it's not Twitter. We are keeping it very professional. And let me share with you the 6 content idea is lessons learned. So again, we've talked a little bit about this already, but if you've learned something new on the job, if you're going to a professional development course, if you are doing whatever that might be, that you're going to actually be learning something, you can also post that. And that could be in the form of an article or a post, just a regular newsfeed post. So I want to know from you guys in the comments really quickly. Let me know, of these content ideas, which one resonates with you the most? So which one do you think you could go out today or tomorrow, and maybe you've even posted these already? Which content idea resonates with you the most? So you can even pop in a number if you wanted, or type in however you want. Let me know that you guys are still here. Let me just see kind of where you guys are in the oh, sorry, my picture, Randy says, your picture is over the place that we want to click. Yeah, sorry about that. I might jump back in and show you guys that again. Can I share or advertise a health product on LinkedIn? So be very careful about being too salesy or like trying to promote your own products on LinkedIn. I think that this is how I like to look at it. And I like to look at this in terms of really any social platform. And I'm not like an expert on everything, but this is just my personal opinion. I think if you want to sell something, give your users or your audience the why behind it. Like, why is that product so good? And when they start reaching out to you, you want to do more of like that selling inside like messaging or DMing or private message. Like if you're out there trying to say, hey, go buy this for this much, and people don't like that, so I don't, and you guys will notice I don't do a ton of product posts unless I'm on a launch like I am this week and next week, but I don't do a ton of product posts. I post mainly educational content. That's almost everything that I post. So be really careful about that. But good question. Also, awesome. You guys are saying inspirational messages. Kristen says 1 and 4. So inspirational messages and simple how-tos. Those are my favorite. I love that you mentioned that, Kristen. Glenn, articles and blogs. Jeremy, 1, 2, 3, and 6. Awesome, Jeremy. You're going to do well with today's challenge then. Ronnie, number 1. Awesome, guys. So I can see, Cassandra says, I think number 2, I can see that you guys have some fantastic ideas going on in your head that you can now get out there and start posting. Let me show you. Now, really quickly, let's jump into what performs well. Okay, so these are things that perform well. And I'm going to show you guys examples of all of this too in just a second here. So what performs well are posts with eye-catching visual images. So anytime you can actually get the attention of your user because they're scrolling, right? Or your audience. I know I keep calling them a user. Your audience, if you can catch their attention with like a post that has good colors, visual images, anything to like get them to stop, those types of posts perform really well. Okay. Number 2, how to enlist posts. So again, that how-to content is one of those things that people love because they're going to LinkedIn, they're kind of networking, they're creating connections, they're learning like what's going on in my industry, so on and so forth. And if there's something that helps them learn something or like a list post. So, for example, I could say about like a LinkedIn, I could say, hey guys, here's the 5 things that you need to do on LinkedIn now if you want to start seeing results. And I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I would say something like a call to action at the end, like, hey, give this post a thumbs up, or do you do any of these things, or which one of these things do you need to fix, or whatever. So that would be an example of a list post. And then, I could also throw the how-to in there. So that's the second type of content that performs really well. The third type of content is a simple response post. So this has been based on my own experience. If I jump into LinkedIn and I say to you guys, hey, yes or no, have you done X, Y, and Z? Those posts do really well because it's a simple task. So all you have to do is type yes or no. And some people will type more information. But what happens is when your audience, and this is why this is so critical and why I'm explaining this to you, is when your audience does that on your post, it shows to their audience that this person commented on your post. And even though it might be your second degree connection, then they can see that this person they know is commenting and interacting with the post. And then this other connection wants to come in. And hopefully that makes sense to you guys, that they want to come in and they want to see what the heck they're commenting on or liking or, engaging with. And so that's where you really can start building connections and meaningful relationships. Okay, number 4, this is one of my favorites, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of examples of these, is posts that tell a really good story. So anytime you see a post that starts with, hey, yesterday I blah, 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 right? Or this week I did this, or this month so anything that's like talking about a story on the other person's end or your end, if you're the one posting the story, those do so well as stories because we all love stories, right? Okay, number 5, and I have one more after this one, is posts with 5, 7, or 9 headings, okay? So think of it this way, and these are more long form posts. These are posts, and this also applies to articles as well, that like if your text is all jumbled together, right? Your audience is going to be like, oh, I'm not sure if I want to read through that. So what you have to do is separate those paragraphs out with like headings. And by a heading, it could be like, you could put it in, because you can't really bold or anything on LinkedIn unless you're in an article. But you could, and I hesitate to put caps in there because, again, caps means again that you're yelling at someone, right? So try and make it stick out. You could put like an emoji of some sort. You could even just have one line and then the paragraph right below it. So anything that breaks up the content, and if it's in a long form post, those do really well. And then the last thing, articles with titles between 40 and 49 characters. So 40 and 49 characters means, let's say I'm going to start an article with how to use LinkedIn. Like, think about how many characters is that? Could I say how to create a winning LinkedIn profile? However that would be, you would make your article based on the 40 to 49 characters. Now, let me show you guys some examples here, and we'll jump into questions. So here's an example of a post that I made that is a native video. So again, native video means it's not linking to YouTube. It's not linking to anything else. This is a video. I actually did put this up on YouTube, but then I also put a teaser video. So like a 30-second video, I believe this was, up on LinkedIn. Now, keep in mind, LinkedIn's been focusing on video, but I'm going to show you guys something a little bit contrary to what they have said. They have said that video performs well, native video, but I'm proof that my native videos don't do as well as videos that I upload and that are linked directly to YouTube. So I'm still a little bit experimenting with that. I don't know if native video does well. People say that it does, but for me, it doesn't do as well. So you'll notice I have arrows pointing to the engagement. So this just means someone gave me a thumbs up or a heart or whatever, and then it shows me the view. So that video had close to 1,000 views on it. Now let me show you a eye-catching image. So this is just an image. This is a thumbnail image from a training that I gave. Notice the colors. And again, this thumbnail image is created in Canva. So we don't use, even though we do use graphic design software for other things, for our thumbnails and those images, we use Canva, a free software program. You guys have access to this. You guys could create an image with all these bright colors and whatever, notice the engagement on this went up, and then notice that the views almost doubled. So yeah, LinkedIn's like post videos do so well, but if you notice, the views on this video are not nearly as high as just an eye-catching image. So again, you don't necessarily need to post a video. Now let me show you a couple other things that did really well. So here's a picture of me that I posted. This is what I would consider personal update and a milestone post. This is a picture super casual with my iPhone where I was just like, hey guys, wishing you a happy new year. This is how my year went down. And I just kind of gave a couple of things. Notice the engagement on that has almost doubled. And then notice the views. And this is just an image, are now almost 2,000. So that's double from that video view, right? Here's another image that I posted that is just like, hey, thanking my community. This is my milestone. So if you can think of a milestone that you've had at some point in your career that you could post, or, and this is a graphic that I got from this, from vidIQ, but notice that this milestone post, I'm not sharing content. I'm not giving a how-to. I'm not listing. I'm not trying to teach. I'm not doing anything in this post but saying, hey, this is a milestone that I reached. And notice the engagement on this was so much more than all the other posts. The views on this are now are over 5,000. So it's insane to me what works and what doesn't work. It's almost like the more simple you can keep it, the better your post will do. So that's kind of like my philosophy is don't make it complicated, keep things simple. And the better it will do. Now, let me show you guys another couple of examples. Now, these are from individuals that you might know. And if you don't know, in fact, we will provide links to their LinkedIn profile and to their YouTube video channels. Both of these people I'm going to show you have channels. And they share a lot of really fantastic content on LinkedIn, just regarding LinkedIn. So check them both out when you have a second. But here's Madeline Mann. If you guys don't know her, she's one of my good friends on YouTube. I love her. Her and I do a lot of collaborative trainings together. Well, not a lot, but sometimes we do. She posted just a quick comic strip about, she says this is so hauntingly accurate, and she's going on to talk about job seekers and how they feel in their current career. And notice the engagement on that. She had 255 people engage with that post in some way. Now, I don't know her views on that, but I could assume that it's, she's got to be in the thousands with that. Just something super simple. And let me show you something else. And she's really good at making these posts inspirational messages that are just simple. So notice this message. She says, whoever is your peppiest coworker or your strong friend, make sure to take a moment to check in with them. They sometimes need your compassion the most. So notice that she's doubled her reactions on this post. And it's simple. She's not sharing an image. It's not long form. There's no how-to. There's no educational content. This is just a simple, hey, here I am. Here's my message. And that post did extremely well. So sometimes, again, when I mentioned earlier that individuals like to see posts that are simple, that allow them to take easy action, that is a really great way. If you have a thought in your industry that's popping up, why not share something super simple like 4 lines of text? Now, I do want to just randomly say here really quickly, I would very highly recommend staying away from sensitive topics, okay? So I wouldn't necessarily talk about politics if you don't have to. Money's sort of a sensitive topic, so I don't know if I would necessarily talk about that. Keep it true to you and your industry without stepping over the line. Because think about, if I'm going to post something and a potential employer sees this in the future, are they going to be okay with me saying that? Or is it going to signify to them that, hey, I ruffle feathers, I don't do what I'm told, I don't follow directions well. Granted, we want you to be yourself, but just try and not go step over the line. So let me know in the chat, is this resonating with you guys? And I have a couple more examples to share with you. And if it is resonating, what is your biggest takeaway so far? So I want to know in the chat, what is your biggest takeaway so far? We have covered building your solid connections, with a template. We've also covered content ideas, what performs well on LinkedIn. And I've given you guys a couple of examples to share or to think about. We've even shared a resource with you for where you can start creating your own inspirational quotes and images if you want to share. So let me know in the chat, what is your biggest takeaway from today? And while you guys are typing that in, I'm going to share one more example with you. Okay, so if you don't know John Marty, he's one of my good friends too on LinkedIn and YouTube. He also has a YouTube channel. John is, I kind of look at John as, he is a LinkedIn influencer. So he kind of came out of the gate a couple years ago and he just started crushing it hard on LinkedIn. And here's what John is really good at that I love is he's really, really, really good at telling stories. So he doesn't just pop out like, hey, I shared, well, he does share his videos and stuff like that, but he's very intentional about the stories that he shares. So this is a video, again, this is like considered a native video he shared of him at a skate park. Now he's in Seattle, Washington. Well, I shouldn't say Seattle. I think he's in Seattle. He's in Washington. And John, so if you guys want to connect with him on LinkedIn or on YouTube, make sure you take a look at his content. This is a video that he shared of him at a skate park with his son. So he goes on to say, hey, I'm 39. He's like, after previously breaking my back in 2 places and having shoulder surgery, I could have come up with every excuse in the book to say that I couldn't learn to skateboard this year. Now, his post is a lot longer than this. I just took the screenshot of the top part, but he basically goes on to say, hey, I learned to skateboard this year at a skate park with my 6-year-old son. And notice the engagement on this. So I showed you guys one of my posts, one of my most popular posts had like 5,000 views, and that was just an image. Notice how many views. He's almost at 30,000 views on just this video alone. So it shows how impactful a good story can be. Now, let me show you another good story that he mentioned here. And I'm sure this has more views because notice the engagement is almost 3 times what it was on the video. He's talking about in this post how him and his wife had recently decided to homeschool their son. And they're talking about how he basically gets done at homeschool 2 hours compared to him being in school all day, right? If that doesn't make you think about homeschooling kids, I don't know what will. But notice the engagement on that post. There's no images, there's no how-to. It's just he is sharing a lesson learned and he's sharing it in a story format. And then the last one on his that I wanted to share with you guys is, notice this one. This is like 4 times what the first one was on the engagement in terms of like the reactions and the comments he's getting. What he's saying in this post is he's saying, hey guys, he said, my wife and I live in a 900 square foot house. And he's going on to say, I don't need a new car. I don't need a big, huge house. He's like, I am happy with who I am and where I'm at in my life. So if these posts don't inspire you, now John has a fantastic following on LinkedIn, but guess what? He didn't always have that. He didn't always have the connections and the opportunities, and either did I, and neither did Madeline. We didn't always have that. We started from scratch. We started, all of us, with 50 connections, actually 0, right? And we worked our way up over the last couple of years to really develop relationships, connect with people, and post meaningful content. So you can see, oh, geez, I forgot to share his slides with you. There's his slides. Okay. So you can see how with all of this information here that now you have, you have ideas of what you can share. And again, like I said before, none of us started with what we have. Like we all started from 0 and we all learned how to really figure out the platform and what was going on. So I want to know, again, let me see what you guys have said about your chat. I'm going to keep John's content up there. I forgot to pop in the slides while I was talking about it. I'm going to see what you guys have said for your biggest takeaway. Also, make sure you post questions. We will be taking a couple minutes to answer those. If you have any questions, make sure you put a question mark or the word question. And Tori, tell me if that helps later. We'll talk later, but tell me if that helps in terms of getting the questions through easier. Alex, okay, let's go back. Let me go back up to Momo. I know there's a lot of you guys. I'm just kind of jumping in the middle here. Brenda says, get involved and put yourself out there. I love that. Momo Ed, hello, says, my biggest takeaway is keeping it simple and being yourself. Yes, don't complicate things. If you complicate it, you won't do it. So keep it easy, keep it simple. Alex says, what performs well and create quick buck content. I love it. Someone says, keep it simple, dedicate time, and be consistent. I love that. Randy says, what's John's last name? John Marty. You guys will be able to find him on LinkedIn. He's very active. And he also has a YouTube channel and he talks a lot about LinkedIn. So he is a fantastic resource for you guys. And so is Madeline. Those two are two of my favorite people that do similar things to what I do. Brenda says, I saw that video. Good, Brenda. And don't be afraid to let others know who you are. Just keep it professional. Yes. Oh my gosh. You guys are saying it better than I am saying it. I wish you could be on this side of the camera with me helping teach, because you guys are on top of it. Now, I do have a challenge for you. So I want you guys to basically keep your eye out for that challenge. And I'm going to pop up the slide for you in just a second here. But one last quick reminder, remember tomorrow, the full program of LinkedIn Profile Perfection launches. It takes all of the stuff that we're learning today with very step-by-step granular detail, showing you exactly how to do it all and how to succeed on the platform and how to get to that point where you're not afraid of this hairy beast, right? That you are saying, you know what, I've got this. LinkedIn's easy. So we're going to be covering more tomorrow. Also, we are doing LinkedIn profile reviews. If you have not yet signed up to be eligible for a review, we still have a few slots that we are trying to fill with individuals. Again, this is a really tough decision, trying to find all the profiles that we want to review, because there were so many and there are so many submitted, but we still have a few spots. Make sure you go to heatheraustin.online/waitlist. You're going to pop your name into the name, email address. You're going to click on free LinkedIn profile review, and then we will keep you posted. You will know by this evening if your profile is selected for review so that you can join us here tomorrow. And then remember, the replay of this 3-day challenge will be available for a couple more days. It's not going to be available forever, so make sure if you need to jump back in and look at the content that you can. Now, are you guys ready for the challenge? I'm going to pop this up, and then please continue to add your questions in, and Tori and I will do our best to take care of you guys today. Okay, here's your challenge. There's 2 parts to this challenge. Part one is I want you to create one piece of content to share on LinkedIn. Okay, one piece of content to share on LinkedIn. And then part 2 is I want you to interact with 5 pieces of content. So what I mean by interacting with 5 pieces of content, this could be super basic, super simple, is I want you to scroll through your news feed, and if you see someone's content that pops up, I want you to give it some reaction. And again, your reactions, you could give it a heart, you could give it a thumbs up, you could give it a light bulb, whatever those reactions are. There's a couple of them in there, like 5 or 6. Give it a reaction, and if you have time, say something about it. Say something interesting, like, hey, super cool post. I like it because blah, 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 or whatever. Okay, say something to that person. I want you to create one piece of content to share on LinkedIn and interact with 5 pieces of content. And the interaction could be something as simple as could just be give it a thumbs up. Do you guys think you can do that? I want to know in the chat. Do you guys think you're up for this challenge? Yesterday, remember, was 10 to 20 people connecting on LinkedIn. Let me know if you guys are up for this challenge, if you think you can do it. I do want to, I will be asking you tomorrow if you've completed this challenge. I want to know how far you guys got with it and how comfortable you were doing that, and if you felt like it was easy or not so easy. I'm really curious to know how you do with that. So let me know if you guys think you can do that. And while you're popping that into the chat, while you're telling me, yes, Charlotte says, absolutely. Or wait, sorry, that was not Charlotte. That was Randy. Randy says, absolutely. Charlotte says, yes, gonna give it a go. So good. Monet says, totally up for it. Many no says, up for this challenge, can do it. Barbara says, yes, easy peasy. So good. Awesome. Alex says, yes. Momo, yes for yesterday's challenge and today's challenge. Awesome. Tambaton says, sounds good to me. Oh, Tom. Okay. Yes, good. Okay, I am so excited to see how well you guys do with this. Let's answer some questions, and remember, join us tomorrow for our third and final challenge. Tomorrow is day 3 of our third and final challenge. I have a fantastic challenge for you guys. Be there. If you even want to learn more about, we are talking mainly about building a LinkedIn profile and some of the mistakes that you might be making. Plus, we are doing profile reviews. It's going to be jam-packed. Now, I'm going to try and skim through these questions as quickly as I can. We have a lot, and I love these questions. I'm just grateful in the midst of everything that's happening worldwide right now. I'm grateful that I can be here with you guys today and that you can join me from wherever you are, and we can still communicate. That, to me, is a blessing in itself. So I'm super happy for that. Okay, first question. How do you attract recruiters when you are changing careers from teaching, career development, in a career tech company? So this question came in a couple of times yesterday. And again, I'm gonna kind of just give you like the shortest answer possible, but giving you some sort of tip to take away from this is making sure that you are tailoring. Wait, let me see, Tori. Let me make sure I'm on the right day of questions. Okay, that was the wrong day. Sorry, guys. That was a question from yesterday, and I knew that sounded familiar. Okay, so sorry. I'm like losing it already. Okay, maybe it's because I don't have my glasses on. That's why. Okay, Steve popped in. Does anyone know how someone can write a testimonial recommendation for me on LinkedIn? The only option I found is to ask for it. Is there a way for them to click on something and write one? Yes, someone could actually go to your LinkedIn profile and write the recommendation. They would have to go to your profile and write one. I have found, and I'm not great at asking for recommendations. This is actually one of my mistakes that I make on LinkedIn, and I need to do this more, but I don't do it more. But you would go to the person's, you would ask for the recommendation, and then you can pull up any person in your connection request and request them to recommend you. What I would recommend, Steve, for this though, is make sure that you have, give them a mini template. And I have this template inside the LinkedIn Profile Perfection course, but make sure you say something to the effect of, why do you want them to write the recommendation, and what do you want them to say about you? So don't just say, hey, can you write me a recommendation? Because most people are like, I get this all the time from people, and I'm like, well, what do you want me to say about you? Please make my job easier. And then I can hurry and type it up and submit it. So make sure you do make it as easy for them as possible. Okay, Steve, another question. For my LinkedIn profile headline, would it be better to just put customer service representative or customer service representative? So we're going to talk I'm skimming through this fast. Customer service representative professional with 20 years of experience. I wouldn't put with 20 years of experience in your headline. We're talking more about headlines tomorrow. I would put customer service representative, and I wouldn't even put the word professional, because we're assuming already that you are a professional. So I'd say customer service representative specializing in something. Okay. And add I would pick 3 key skills or 2 key skills that you can add in there that would help you show up in searches that recruiters and hiring officials do. Can you share one tip or strategy in connecting with folks on LinkedIn? Barbara, good question. I'm going to refer you to day 1 video yesterday where we talked about, I gave you a template. So I actually gave you an exact template for how to connect with someone. So jump back to that video from yesterday's and follow that exact template, and even rewatch what I talked about, because I give you the tip that you need. Tom says, yes, achieve 10. Oh, awesome. So Tom's talking about his challenge from yesterday. So good, Tom. Let's see. Oh, but then you're also saying, but what and how should I follow up to keep the connections interested? So I actually I think I'm sharing this tomorrow. I can't remember all the stuff I'm sharing tomorrow, but Yeah, so one thing you can do is check out their profile. Are they posting? Are they, is there any, like, are they sharing stuff in the newsfeed? Do they have articles? I would check their activity and almost like follow their activity. Not that you want to stalk them, right? But like make a comment on their post or, that kind of stuff so that they can kind of notice you and then maybe make a mention of, hey, I sent you a connection request a couple days ago or last week. You probably haven't seen it yet. Just wanted to make sure you are aware. Would love to connect with you. So just keep it super simple and light. Jessica, does it make sense to connect with past coworkers, even if, yes, 100% connect with anyone? So when I first started doing this, when I first started connecting, I connected with people at the company I worked for that I'd never met. But I was like, hey, I noticed that you also work for X, Y, and Z. Would you mind if we connect on LinkedIn? And so many people were like, super cool, yeah. And then so many people were like, just connect, and they never said anything to me again, which is fine. That's a lot of how a lot of people will, their behavior will be on the platform. But totally connect with past coworkers, alumni, anyone that you can think of that you already have a personal connection with. That's a really good place to start, actually. Okay, Sweet Rosa says, can you do the meaningful connections on social network website such as Facebook? I'm wondering if you're asking if I can do a training on that, or if you're saying, can you as the person do that? I'm not sure, to tell you the truth. I can't remember on Facebook if when you add a friend, if they give you an option to type a message. But I think that's a great idea. If they don't have that feature, they probably should put it in there. Good question. Oh, such a good question from Talshar Char. Char says, is it better to have many connections or fewer but meaningful? We talked a little bit about this yesterday, and you guys, if you were here, you know my answer. Fewer but meaningful, 100%. Monet, what is the magic number of posting content? How often should we post? Oh, this is such a good question. So this depends on the situation you're in. If you're a job seeker, you don't need to post every day. In fact, that it probably would be well, okay, that's not true. Some people would say you could post every day, but my opinion, I don't think you need to post every day. I think when stuff comes up that is meaningful to you, where you think you can share your 2 cents on, that is inspiring you, that you can say, ooh, like this is a good way for me to show my talents, my abilities, my skills, then post. Engagement, I would say engage every day. Like engage with other posts. You can even share some content, but to make an actual post yourself, I would say start with like a couple days a week and go from there, or even start with 1 day a week. And because I know it's hard, even as a business owner, it's hard for me to get on. I try and post 1 day a week, or 1 day every day of the week, not the weekends. I don't post a lot of content Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You'll find people aren't as active on the platform on the weekend. But start with a couple days out of the week or 1 day out of the week, and then get comfortable doing that and then move up from there. Okay, I think I answered the question about the health product on LinkedIn. What content should you not post? Oh, such a good question, Helen. Thanks for asking this. So when it comes to what you shouldn't post on LinkedIn, of course, I know I talked a little bit about this earlier. No, don't post a lot of personal content. Sometimes I see people that post this stuff and I'm like, why are you posting that here on LinkedIn? Like, go to Facebook and post that there. Like, keep it professional. We want, and me being like an avid LinkedIn, I love the platform, but sometimes I feel like there's so many people that come in and post stuff and do weird things with connections and spam people and this and that it makes it an unattractive platform. So then it prevents people from even coming to use it, when let's use it for what it is. Like, let's keep our posts professional. Again, those updates, like personal updates of, if you're going to share a picture of yourself, talk about like, hey, this is the coolest thing that I learned this year, or this is one milestone that I had, or keep it in like your career type the career type area. Sweet Rosa, another question. What if someone in the picture doesn't want to be shown on the LinkedIn website? Can they be blurred? Okay, one thing you can do with pictures is you can actually make it so that your picture is not shown to anyone outside of LinkedIn. There is controversy on this. Most people are like, you're out there, you're trying to find a job, you're trying to find new career opportunities, just show your picture. But then I do work with a lot of clients that they can't show their picture for security reasons. Like they work for either like large banks or like no one can know who they are because they would be in trouble, right? Like threats and all sorts of things. So in that case, you can keep your profile picture off. In terms of blurring it, I don't think, well, maybe LinkedIn does have an option to blur your photo now. I know that you can edit your photo. I'm just popping into my profile really quick. Yeah, I don't think they have it where you can, they don't let you blur it, but you can set the visibility. So consider that, if you have a high profile position and people can't know what you look like. I even have some people that can't really share their full name. And so we don't share their full name. So there's certain situations where you wouldn't want to show your photo. But those are kind of few and far between. For the general public, I say share your photo. And again, make it professional. No selfies. Okay, Jennifer, is there a difference in posting on the main feed as opposed to a group? Yes, big, huge difference. In other words, if I post in my feed, do people in a particular group see it or not? So if you post in your newsfeed, your network will see it. Well, and I'm not saying all of your network, because again, remember, all of these social platforms have algorithms. So they are trying to monitor everyone's behavior. And they're saying, hey, if you've liked these last 5 posts, this other person in your network that posted, you're probably going to like their post because it has the same hashtag. It's about the similar content. But then like another person in your network could post on LinkedIn, right? And they might not have hashtagged their post, and LinkedIn might not even put it in front of you. It's really bad on Facebook. Facebook's only going to give you, they want to show you what's getting really, really, really good engagement. And that's like anytime anyone's gotten married or a baby or someone shares a big, huge milestone again about their life. Like those are the types of posts that Facebook puts in front of more people. And I'm assuming LinkedIn works the same way, not as stringent, I don't think, as Facebook is, but they use AI technology to figure out who should see this post and who shouldn't and all sorts of stuff. So when it comes to groups in the newsfeed work very differently. Do we talk about groups tomorrow? I think we do. We talk about groups tomorrow. And I'll give you guys a little bit more information on groups. But when you make a post in a group, it's not going to show up on the newsfeed. Like your network will not see that unless they're in the group with you. Veronica, what does this mean? How do you know, how do you know that you have a strong profile? Tune in tomorrow, Veronica, because we're going to be talking exactly about the profile part. Tom, what are the meanings of the level connections? Such a good question. Yes, so there are 3 levels of connections that LinkedIn categorizes. First is all the people that are your first degree, they have connected with you. Second degree connections those are the people that are connected to your connections. And then third degree, just look at it as another degree removed. Those are the people that are connected to your connections, if that makes sense. So you might go and be like, you might see that you're like third degree connections with Oprah, right? Well, that's because Oprah is connected to a connection of yours connection. Does that make sense? I hope. Just look at it as like your third cousin removed or something, right? So it just goes in, how close is that person to you? So that's where that template that I just gave you guys earlier today, if you find someone that is working for a company, and it could even be a third degree connection. Someone's working for a company and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to work for this company and they know my connection, or they know, like, start using that introduction template to get introduced. So now your third or your second degree connection can now be your first degree connection and you can start exploring more opportunities. Okay, I think I answered the question on articles and posts. I answered John that question. Would you advise holding back posting content no, not at all. I would not advise holding back because, hey, listen, look at it this way, Tom. If you start posting now and let's say you mess up with your posting or like that's not great, you're not messing up in front of that many people, right? Not that you're going to mess up, but you get what I'm saying. Like you're going to get better and better and better. For example, if you guys look at, and please don't do this, but if you look at some of my very first videos on on YouTube, they are terrible. I didn't know how to hold my hands. I didn't know how to talk. I was like, they're so bad, but I've kept them up there and I knew I had to get that out if I wanted to learn to get better and better and better. So exact same thing applies with LinkedIn posting. Helen, would it be relevant to blog about a career transformation? Oh, I like that. And your journey to reinvent yourself. I think you probably could, Helen. You want to, again, be really careful about how personal you have that. So think about it in this way. Like if I'm blogging about this and a potential employer sees me, is there anything I'm going to be saying that might turn them off? Or is there anything that I would put in there that maybe they say, maybe we don't want to hire this person. So you got to be really careful about using LinkedIn for that. Think about why you want to do that. Like, is it to kind of get it off of because I know a lot of creative individuals, they have so much inside that they want to share with the world, and think about and I think that's a wonderful gift and a wonderful talent. You can share things, but be careful with how it's perceived by a potential employer. Okay, I'm not sure if we're gonna get to all the questions, guys. We have so many, and I promised my team we would be finished here in just a couple minutes. So, can you please let me know what should the frequency? Okay, awesome. I think I answered that question. Hi, John. So glad you've made it today. John says, would like to gain input on how employers use LinkedIn. Okay. So John, we talked a little bit, I'm not sure. I think you were here yesterday. We talked a little bit about recruiters and hiring officials using LinkedIn. And we're going to talk more about the profile thing tomorrow. And I think that will shed more light on this topic. They're basically using it as a very, very streamlined search tool. So they're putting in titles, years of experience, maybe schools you went to, like all sorts of things. What are your skills? What skills do you have listed? What keywords and keyword phrases are you using in your headline and your summary? Like they are getting down to the nitty gritty. Think of it as when you go out to do a job search using that jobs page on LinkedIn, they're doing basically the same thing, but if they have LinkedIn Recruiter, they're using even more resources and tools inside of there to drill down to, they don't want to see 100 candidates. They might want to see just 20. So they're getting very, very, very specific with their searches. That's a good question though. Mary Grace, can we go and save these videos before they're gone? Well, let me tell you, Mary, you do have until next Thursday to catch this, this 3-day LinkedIn challenge. These videos will be placed, they will be removed from YouTube and they will be placed inside of LinkedIn Profile Perfection. So again, this is my full online course. Any of my students, by the way, if you guys are here, which I'm sure a lot of you are, any of my students and my clients, you will have access to all this content if you're already a student or a client. But this information will be put inside that program for you to watch whenever and take notes and reference at any time. Jennifer, can you show us your screen so we can see posts? Oh, well, okay. So Jennifer, maybe we'll do that tomorrow because that's a whole nother lesson. I do a lot of screen sharing and tutorials inside of the full LinkedIn course. But so we'll do that. I might show you a little bit more tomorrow because that might take a little bit of time. But if you want to know, you said, so we can see, yes, sorry, that I know what you're talking about. That was the post. That was from a while ago. That was John's posts. I'm so sorry. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I think I answered that question. What do you feel about writing and seeking new opportunities? Yes, do not put that in the headlines. I would not put anything about seeking new opportunities in the headline. you could mention some things in the summary, but in the headline, remember, if you want to be found in search, a hiring official is not going to be typing in someone that's seeking new opportunities. They want someone with a very specific title, with a very specific skill set, and you need to have that in your headline. Let's see. Oh my gosh, there's still a couple of questions here. Let me try and get through a couple of these really quickly, guys. I feel there's a fine line between sharing accomplishments and coming off as boastful. Hello, Alana. I'm so glad you're here. What's the best way to handle this? You always have the best questions. So when it comes to sharing accomplishments, yes, this is a big deal for people. And I know for me, when I first started posting, I'm not like, you guys know me, I have 4 kids. I don't share a lot about my personal life, and I don't share a lot of, there's a lot I could be posting every day, but I just don't feel the need to share it. But the more you do, let me tell you this, the more you do, the more you become comfortable with that. So you might say, oh, I passed this milestone and I would love everyone to know. The first time you do that, it's going to feel a little bit strange because we're not like, just by nature. Well, some of us are. Some of us like to brag, but most people don't want to share a lot of this stuff. But do it in like more of a grateful way. Like, I'm so grateful for this accomplishment. I'm so, if you're talking about a post is what I'm saying here. When you are going in, and this is the thing, the better you become at it now, the better you will be when the interview comes up in your resume, in your LinkedIn profile, in your cover letter, all that stuff. You got to just lay out, what are you good at? What are your accomplishments? And own them and be like, yes, this is what I'm good at. Now, you might not be so good at something else, but that's okay. Like, we're focusing on what you're good at, and you're selling yourself. So if I'm going to sell a product, I have to talk about all the great things about that product, right? And you're the product. But if you don't ever mention that because you don't want to be boastful, and you can do it in a way of like, you're not like using numbers and data and stuff like that to show the accomplishment, so that you're not, you're not saying, hey, look at me, I'm so great. There's a lot of ways you can do that. Okay, a couple more questions. Do you recommend attaching a resume to your page if you're looking for employment? Okay, so glad you asked this, Jared. This question came up yesterday, and no, do not attach your resume to your LinkedIn profile. You want to create an engaging profile that signals to a recruiter or a hiring official or a new career opportunity to contact you, to want to learn more. Never post your resume. Even though LinkedIn allows you to post a PDF, don't post it. Aiko says, is it good to post video tutorials? Yeah, like animations. This is what I would do. Do you have a YouTube channel? If you don't, I would suggest getting one, because you're talking about animation videos. And I would post long form animation videos there, and then I would post a teaser to LinkedIn. Okay, you guys did amazing. So many fantastic questions. I'm so grateful that you guys and that we could join each other today. Remember tomorrow's 3-day live stream. We have so many more concepts to cover with you guys tomorrow. We will be doing LinkedIn profile reviews. Also, remember, LinkedIn Profile Perfection launches tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. And you guys stay safe. I know that there is a lot of turmoil going on. Stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, right? All that good stuff. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow. We'll talk soon.